said that, for example, he was talking about a specialized skill. He said you don't have more than maybe 200 of those specialized skills in America. He said, but in China, you can fill 3 stadiums, full of people with that specific skills, right? And so I'm looking at China, and I was forced to quickly check to know the predominant religion in China. Then I found Chinese traditional religion, which is a combination of Confucius, Buddhism, and Taoism, right? And some of these religions are religions we don't know. And then I checked the rate of Christianity. Christianity is 2.1% in China. Islam is 1.1% thereabout. So China does not have predominantly Christian. They don't have predominantly Muslim, yet China is the next world power. With all the tariff war, China is standing toe to toe against America. No country has ever done it, but they are doing it so well with a smile on their face. It means that China knows something that we don't know, right? And so I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at Africa, and I'm looking at what we believe, and I'm asking questions. I mean, I love to ask questions, because when I see anything that is working, I try to study it, right? Scripture says, who is blind but my servant, right? That the person who is capable of not observing, is the servant of God. And so I'm not a student of just accept whatever is thrown at you. I want to know what makes everything work. So I study seasons, I study times. So I'm asking myself, if Africa is this religious, this prayerful, Muslim, Christian, and then China does not practice any of the two, and then China is the warehouse of the world, the production factory of the rest of the world. China is giving loans to nations that are prayerful. China is, building railway system. Everybody's running to China to produce and manufacture. And then I'm asking, right, competence. It means the human spirit has got the ability to be very competent, right? Then it will then mean that maybe a lot of us who are religious hide under religion to mask incompetence and to mask mediocrity, right? It's not an indictment, it's just a food for thought, because I reflect every day, and I put my reflection in a write-up I posted in some platforms, because it got me thinking to say, they don't pray in Jesus' name, they don't pray in Allah's name, and then these guys, so they align actually with the verse that says the hand of the diligent bears rule. It didn't say the hand of a Christian or a Muslim, the hand of the diligent. So it means China is a diligent country, and then they bear rule, right? And so it's a food for thought that God is not going to reward you for mediocrity simply because you are a Christian or because you pray or you sing. And some of the activities we do, to bring God down, let God intervene, is to sing, is to dance, is to organize worship concerts. Nothing is wrong with that, but I'm placing it side by side with the next world power, and I'm looking at what they're doing. Even Israel does not do many of those things, right? We can continue to do those things without neglecting competence and hard work. All these smart work. See, there's no smart work without hard work. There is no person who is leading the world who is not a hard worker, right? So I want to welcome us once again. If you have the link, invite your friends, invite your family members. Today, we're looking at how to recover lost opportunities, And this is a very interesting recovering lost opportunity, because a lot of us have lost opportunities. People have lost lovers, people have lost a job, people have lost deals. I have lost opportunities. I mean, I always say to people that I was once, when I was younger, and I was just a budding talent, I found myself in cycles of the movers of shakers of a particular country in the future, right? There's a particular woman who took interest in me. Then she was a governor's wife, and then her husband is currently a president. And then she would invite me to meetings. I will not go for those meetings, right? She would try to follow me up and say, Praise, there are things we need to do together. I'll be running. Why was I running? There were laws and beliefs in my head to say, these people will compromise you. These people are not as born again as you. There is this arrogance that comes with a sense of self-righteousness, where you think that you are the only person and other people are sinners, right? You can become that, and you cut yourself away from interacting. So your social skills are dead. You have spiritual skill, but then you're forgetting that you can have spiritual skills and be spiritually wealthy. It's just that your wealth are in the spiritual places, right? The problem is you are rich in the spirit realm, but then poor in the physical realm, because you cannot bring your physical spiritual wealth to spiritual realm without social skills, because the wealth is in the hand of people and you need to interact with people. So I started running away. And I was running away because of those laws in my head that says, they will compromise me. These people are not born again. See, how can she be this and marry this kind of husband? I was focused on things I had no business with, right? Opportunities were staring me in the face like this. Instead of plugging myself in, I was analyzing what was none of my business, calling unclean what God has called clean. Fast forward, it's been many years now. She's first lady of a big country, and then I don't really have access like before, right? And so I know what it means to lose an opportunity. I know what it means to lose deals. I mean, I got a deal many years ago. I was supposed to train an entire geographical zones all over Nigeria, and then I made my quote, and my quote was I think like maybe 25,000 per person, per participant, and then they asked me to mark it up to 250,000 per person. I ran away from the deal. I was like, these people, they want to take me to F5. I didn't understand rules of engagement, right? And then they still brought out the money. The job was not executed. And then I couldn't find myself in that cycle, right? But I have had to learn over time, right? And so I want you to know that you are not alone. If you think you have lost opportunities, times have passed by. There was a guy you were supposed to have gotten married to, and then you're looking down. You said maybe his head was like Gorimakpa's head. He was a big-headed guy. Then wealth has come. The big head has disappeared. Money has shrunk it, right? Because the neck, every part has now appeared, and then the big head is no longer there, but you are still single. Joyce is laughing, right? Right? Or maybe there was a lady you ought to have married, and then you're looking at them, you're psychoanalyzing them. Is Catholic and Pentecostal. You know, there's this arrogance. I speak in tongue, it doesn't speak in tongue. Tongue does not marry. Tongue cannot have sex. Right? Tongue cannot make money, right? And then you overrate the non-essentials to downplay a kind human being that should have been your lover. And then fast forward many years later, you are still single, the person is happily married, and then you are looking at what has been. Maybe the person is even a governor or something, right? And so opportunities show up. And I know that when opportunities show up, oftentimes many of us are not able to pick on the opportunity. And so we have been told that success has a mathematical equation. The equation is opportunities plus preparation. And so if we're talking about lost opportunities, then you will look at this equation and see that there is one constant that is the main culprit of lost opportunities. And that constant is preparation. So a lot of us, the opportunities came, we were not prepared. I found myself in a team, in a group of people. The opportunity was there. Align with this woman. All you just need to do is show up. Be part of what she's doing. Be a project manager. Support her. But then my internal capacity was weak. And that was preparation. I have been taught in my religious places that, you know, you guys should not distract me, James, right? I've been taught that, oh, these people are unbelievers. They are going to mess you up. And so I was not mature. I was not prepared, right? I was very arrogant in my ignorance. And so I was walking away from opportunity. The only constant was I was not prepared. And it's the same thing for many of us. You were not at the level of knowledge that you ought to have been at the time these opportunities were showing up. And so you couldn't take advantage of them because you had not grown to that level. I don't know how many of us, when you were in school, there were some subjects that were very tough for you, maybe because you were the youngest in your class, right? But as you began to grow older, you now realize that, hey, these are subjects that you could easily take. You could now understand it better, right? Because you can now see things better. You are now at a level of maturity. There were movies you watched many years ago that when you watch it right now, you are wondering, did you actually watch this movie? How come you didn't see this? How come you didn't see that? What had happened is that you had grown over time. And so preparation is always the biggest culprit when it comes to missed opportunity. Many of us have walked away from billions. We've walked away from deals because of beliefs. And those beliefs, you think they are your beliefs, you are justifying yourself that these beliefs are, I don't want to compromise, not knowing that you are violating a classic rule of engagement where you have been domiciled. Many of us are living in Africa, but we keep deceiving ourselves thinking that we are Israelis or Jews, spiritual Jews. So you are living with the law of Israel in a nation called Nigeria. And so consistently, opportunities are passing you by, and then it looks like, hey, God, where are you? God, when? And then you are hearing other people share testimony. They are not giving the full story. You are hearing the testimony and you are wondering, you are doing everything they are doing, and yet you are not having their result. The problem is the back end. You don't understand the back end that they are interacting with, and then you want their result. And so it can become very tough and traumatic when you have done everything they say you should do. Pray 2 hours every day, you pray. Dance in the middle of the night, strip yourself naked 3 hours. You are doing that. Sow seed. You have sown seed. Give your all. You know, you have given your all. Oh, join toilet cleaners. Join toilet cleaners. And yet, your life does not reflect the outcome that you want, right? The issue is not God and many of those things you are doing. And in fact, that your brain can process some of those instructions is also a problem. I always ask the question that if you brought Prince Harry or Prince Edward to many of our meetings, and then you are teaching on how you can interact with God, how you can get things from God. If you want God to build you a house, you know, roll on the floor 3 times, bring out your phone. Do you think he will respond to those instructions? He will not. Why? His brain does not have the capacity to respond to what you are saying, because everything you are saying is roll on the floor to have, he already has. So he's a royalty. His brain cannot capture what you are saying because he's already a king. And so, or a prince, a king designate, so he cannot understand why he needs to do what you are saying. But you see, those things resonate with many of us because we are from a poor background, and so those things come to us. But then the critical rule of engagement that makes rich people rich, that makes great people great, that makes, you know, leading people, we have not learned or mastered them. Why? Because we have not prioritized personal preparation. So here are a couple of fundamentals, and I'll share with you 5 tips that you can use to recover whatever is lost. 1, we all have the tendency to lose anything as human beings. Losses is not peculiar to the rich. It's not peculiar to the poor. It's a human issue, right? And so don't look down on yourself. Number 2, sometimes we lost things out of ignorance or arrogance, or other times we are not even aware what we truly lost. Sometimes we justify ourselves, right? But then our arrogance comes into play. And I've shared some of these experiences with you, that you can be very, very arrogant, that when it's time, I mean, you one of the things that can happen to you in a developing economy, especially if you live in Africa, is that you look at your competence, you look at your degree, then you look at the man who is supposed to take a decision on your proposal, and is a man who never went to school. And then you are asked to come and present the proposal, and then you have to wait at the waiting room of that so-called illiterate for 8 hours. If you are like me, who prioritize timing, your body will begin to burn you. You'll begin to feel insulted. You'll begin to calculate what you could have been doing with your time, with your life, and you are wondering, why is this, for lack of a better word, fool, the one in charge of this place? You know, Bible talks about it. I have seen another evil on the heart. I have seen princes walk barefooted, and I have seen servants ride horses. Why? Have you ever asked yourself, why that scripture was put in the Bible. Why would a servant ride on horses, and why would a prince walk barefooted? It's in the rules of engagement. The so-called prince is not aware that it's not in his palace. It's in another person's stuff. It's called the territorial principle. The territorial principle says when you are in your domain, you are a king. But when you are in somebody else's domain, you are not a king. You are a subject. And so the rules and the regulation of that person is binding on you. If you don't understand the rules and the regulation of that person, things will not happen that you want to happen in that terrain, except you gain power. And that's why you look at our continent and you realize, you see messages like, you need to sow your way to the top. It thrives in our nation because of our culture. We have mixed our culture with our faith, and so it's become cultural Christianity and cultural Islam. But then, if you don't do those things, you realize that you won't even gain access to certain people, right? And so, a lot of us do not understand what we've lost, that we lost them out of ignorance. You take people for granted. You have lost a spouse because you started taking them for granted. You have lost your children because you started taking them for granted. You have forgotten that you are not in the era of your parents, where whatever you said was law. You are now dealing with a new generation, and so your child is saying, if you continue like this, I'll just leave your house. And you say, leave. And when our parents say leave, they didn't mean leave. But then you say leave to a Gen Z or Alpha, he packs his bag and he's left the house. And then you are beginning to go everywhere to say, what is going on? So we lose things sometimes out of ignorance, arrogance, and sometimes we're not aware of what we've lost. Now, you can lose anything from property to dignity or to your reputation. Your reputation can be damaged out of ignorance, out of stupidity, out of weakness, right? You can lose your dignity. You can lose integrity. You can lose property. You can lose money. You can lose deals. You can lose opportunities, right? You were in a space and then you were giving your all, but you were not developing your leadership skills. And then opportunity came. You couldn't take it because you have not taken the courses you should have taken, and they had to bring someone else to come and lord it over you. Isn't it interesting that even in the religious spaces, the children of the religious leaders are usually away, studying somewhere, waiting to come and take over, while other people are not encouraged to further their education to improve themselves. That is how these things work. And you cannot blame anybody because you are supposed to be able to think and take decisions for your life. So you can lose anything from property to dignity to your reputation. That's why I tell people, please do everything to develop yourself. The most critical aspect of losing anything is the narrative or the interpretation you give to it. And this is the real issue why a lot of people have not recovered what they lost, or they are stuck, right? And so somebody, wanted to fell in love with someone, couldn't talk to them, you're a lady, you fell in love with a guy, you became besties, best of friends. The guy is not saying anything because he's timid and he's shy. And meanwhile, you have a law in your head that the guy is the one that should do the chasing. It is disrespectful for a lady to be asking a guy out or to be talking to the guy about the thing, so that they don't think I'm desperate. So you are in that space. You are thinking that if you go and talk to him it's your friend. Why can't you talk to him? Oh, I don't want to appear desperate. I don't want him to look down on me. And so you were in that space, and the desperate girls of Lagos or the desperate girls of Lusaka who want to get married eventually went to talk to the guy to say, you know what, guy, I like you. What are we doing? Hey, let's be dating. And then the guy proposed to this desperate girl, and today the desperate girl is married. They find, good girl of Lagos or good girl of Lusaka is here to get married. And you are wondering, and then you are yet to recover because there's a law in your head that says once you miss your bone of bone or the flesh of flesh, there's one guy who is the only bone of bone and the flesh of flesh. Once you miss him, you have missed everything. So you are becoming desolate like Tamar because you have lost the person that is supposed to be the bone of your bone or the flesh of your flesh. See, opportunities will always show up again. Not necessarily in the form and the shape they were when you lost them. And so instead of interpreting it to mean, okay, I am grateful, I missed this, but then what have I missed? Let me let me check myself. Maybe there are beliefs I have that is not serving me. Let me tweak those beliefs and begin to now become more mature so that the next opportunity I have to build such a friendship, I will know how to position. Many of us never do that. We still retain that same belief. And you see, your result will never change if you don't change who you were at the time of loss. If you retain who you are, you will always produce the same result. And that's why it looks like your relationship have followed the same pattern. If you are listening to me today, your result is following the same pattern all your life. It is proof that there is a constant you need to change. Who you are right now is what is producing that outcome. And who you are is actually a combination of your beliefs and then your action. So if you check your action, there are actions you are taking that is producing that result, but there are beliefs you have that is producing those actions. Now, those two is what makes who you are. If you don't change those two, you will consistently repeat your errors. Opportunities will keep showing up, and then the doors will keep slamming. Why? Because you have not grown. Life is not, and God is not impatient. God is very patient, long suffering. If you don't master it till age 91, it's just going to keep looking at you, because until you master it, you cannot move to the next class. So your interpretation, what have you lost? How did you interpret it? Oh, I lost this thing. You know, one of the things that pain me about our continent is that someone dies. Instead of us to run an autopsy to find out why they died, so that we can prevent others from dying the same death, we are quick to say, oh, God has taken him. He has gone to be with the Lord. He has gone to rest. And so we shut down an opportunity to study things and prevent a reoccurrence. We are quick to create narratives. Oh, that is how God wants it. Says who? No, that is what God wants for my life. Says who? You even see people want to get married, but then on social media, I'm married to Jesus. Oh, to the God be the glory. But they are crying inside. Why do people deceive themselves, and why do people live a life that contradicts what they want because they want to be politically correct, or they want people to see them as someone who is serving God? Once your narrative changes from disempowering to empowering, everything else changes, right? So it's a function of your narrative. Your narrative is a function of your belief. It is always down to you and the quality of the network you have built in your quest to recover whatever you have lost. And that is why one of the greatest skills everybody on this call must have is networking skills. If you don't get to that point where consistently you keep rebuilding new networks, you know, this is the way it works. If you're a single person, you want to get married, you have 10 friends initially, and 9 out of those friends are now married. Your chances of getting married will be slimmer. If you don't replace every friend, for every friend who is getting married, you need to replace them with another single friend. The more you do that, the more you increase your own chances of getting married. What many of us do is, all your friends are married. Some of you on this call, if you are like that type I, all your friends are now married. You are not married, right? But then all those your friends are still your friends, right? And then they now have friends who are all married. What you should do is you need to intentionally, thank you, Grace, for being honest. You need to intentionally begin to replace them. As they get married, you replace, because you can't marry married people, except you want to be a second wife, right? If you believe in polygamy, that's right for you. I have no say about that. However, if you don't want to be a second wife, what you need to do is, as they are living, because the problem is, as you are now growing older, they now create a category called matured single. There is no worse category ever created than matured single, because it stigmatizes you. You are either single or married. And so you realize that mature single now relate with themselves, yeah, and nobody's getting married in the group. What you need to do, as people are living your life, you need to replace them with new people who subscribe to your values and who share what you share. right? That is how the laws of nature work. But many of us are not doing that, right? And so the quality of your networks you have built is what helps you recover. I know someone who lost a major deal, but then for the next 1 year, his friends rallied around him and they said, you know what, we know you lost everything, but every month we will send 5 million to you for the next 1 year. Now, that is a good network. That is someone who has prioritized friendship, has prioritized relationship, and has built good network. Now, the question is this: what opportunities have you lost? And how do you recover lost opportunities? Some of you are building networks, but you are building poor networks. The network of people, see, as you grow older, you need to desensitize yourself to things like religious beliefs in building network. These are my values in building network. You need the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Someone told me many years ago, when I used to live in Nigeria, he said, Praise, if you want to survive in this country, you need someone in police that is a high-ranking officer. You need a man of God who is a very top man of God. You need a politician who is a top-ranking politician. You need a an ex-military man, retired military general, who is very prominent, right? And then he went on. And he says in every sector, you need to have a relationship with the firstborn of those sectors. I asked him why. He said because that is the rule to survive in a country like Nigeria. I never forgot that. Right. So I learned to intentionally build networks. There are networks I have never activated, but I'm servicing them. And so a lot of us, you are people, but the people you have around you are weak. They are the people at the same level with you. What is common to all of you is that you are struggling. How do they bail you out when they can't bail themselves out? A poor man who is trying to bail out other poor people is like a man fetching water with a bucket that is bigger than you in a well. The well is going to fetch you very soon, right? So what are the opportunities you have lost, and how do you recover those opportunities? So here are the 5 tips I'm going to give to you today. Number 1 thing you need to do, if you have lost any opportunity, I need you to reflect without regret. See, when I clocked 40, I told myself, Praise, you've clocked 40. There are 40-year-olds who are dead. 39-year-olds are dead. From now on, you will have no regrets over anything. It doesn't mean you won't feel bad. You will make mistakes, right? Some of the mistakes can be costly. They can be out of stupidity. But you must not, beyond 48 hours, kill yourself over anything that is a human failure, right? So you will not have any form of regret. You will not be bitter over anything beyond 48 hours, and you will not be sad, right? Because, see, life is short. Life is too short to waste 24 hours brooding over what you have no control over. So when I am overwhelmed, everybody around me knows, when I'm overwhelmed, I turn off my phone, I get into my closet, I bend my knees, I worship. I worship because the only person that will understand me at that point is the voice that was there when nobody knew me. I'm worshiping and I'm interacting with that voice. And then when I hear what he has to say, most of the time I say, Praise, I'm going to sort this out. So just go and rest. I get on my knees, life continues. Reflect without regret. See, your regret does not bring back the opportunity. As a matter of fact, your regret keeps you bound. So we say, don't get stuck mourning what you have missed. Instead of mourning over what you have missed, what you do is, can you analyze the why? Why did I miss this opportunity? Maybe you were not ready. Maybe there were beliefs in your head, and you need to be brutally honest. A lot of us in self-reflection, I told my colleagues, we always say it. I think one of them is on this call. I said to them one day, I said the greatest mistake we made was that we followed the wrong person. When it came to mentorship in our younger years, right? We followed someone who, his mode of operation was right and wrong. He was a good man, right? He was a man who loved God. However, he was a man who does not understand basic power principle. He doesn't understand how to position his own people. He had access, but it was about himself and how people can serve him. It was not about how he can position people. So I said to them humorously, I said, if I have to reverse the hand of time and I go back to that age, I'll go and follow Jagaban. Don't laugh at me, right? I said, because we would have, if we had a man who knew how to position his own people, right? All of us would have been billionaires then. And when he needed to raise money, we would have given him money, right? But all he cared about, was just becoming number one and blah, 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 blah. And so you need to understand that if you don't analyze, if we didn't analyze that thing, we won't know. And the moment I analyzed my life and I saw that, I began to observe. And I realized that there are two levels in life. You are either getting deals on appointment or on employment. Employment is the lowest hanging fruit. You don't want to play there because it's a longer route. Appointment is the faster route. However, you can't be appointed if you don't belong to the family. If you're a family member, appointment is what you get. If you are not a family member, employment is what you get. So I began to teach people, go and look for who to adopt so that adoption can bring you into family if you were not originally born into that family. With adoption, you are protected. With adoption, you are loyal. With adoption, they can trust you and then put you in strategic places to serve an interest. Right. And so when I understood that, I started seeking adoption. And so there are people who have adopted me into their families. And you need to understand this, because without analyzing the why and how, what choices, what fears, what distraction caused the opportunity to slip by. Some of us have been distracted. You had a meeting that could have given you, maybe X billions of naira or dollars, right? And that meeting is clashing with a Sunday service, for example. Pardon the use of my word, you are chief usher, Sunday service, and then that meeting is clashing. Then you begin to rationalize it to say, if I choose this meeting now, that is persecuting God, right? Today is Sunday, is the day to worship God. If I don't go to worship God, God will be upset with me, he might kill me. So let me forego this meeting and go and worship God. There's a problem with your theology. Number one, Sunday was created by human beings. The rest day is a Sabbath day. Remember, the Sabbath to keep it holy. Sabbath is a Saturday, right? Human beings changed it to Sunday. Now you have made every service, but this is one meeting that you have been praying for. It has not happened on a Sunday, but your brain couldn't understand, interpret, analyze to know that you are still serving God, whether you are in a building or you are not in a building. So in a bid to impress God, who has opened this door, you decide not to go. And then you say, God, I'm seeking you first too. What do you mean by seeking me first? Seeking me first is finding the place that I planted you, finding the place of your competence. It has not to do whether you are ushering and not seeking God first, but that is your interpretation. So you left that meeting and then you went to this other meeting. And someone who is not as competent as you, who is not as intelligent as you, who is not as prayerful as you, has gone for this other meeting. And then he goes for the meeting, everybody strikes a deal, and they say, okay, for being in this meeting, you're going to be earning 1%, right? And that 1% has now become maybe 10 billion or something, maybe $1 billion or something. And then you are still there and you are saying, God, but I'm serving you. You see, nobody is as entitled as people claim they are serving God. Oh, God, I'm a virgin. Why am I? I didn't do all those bad things. All those bad girls on campus, they are now married. Why is my own like this? You said I should serve you. God, are you forsaking me? You are being emotional about things and you are trying to emotionally blackmail God. God has nothing to do with what you are dealing with. It's a personal choice, right? And so many of us are so entitled that we are not better than the brother of the prodigal. The brother of the prodigal, in his heart, he wanted to commit immorality. He wanted to throw a party, but he didn't have the nerve, the liver, the capacity, the opportunity to mess up. Now, when his brother went to mess up, and he took his brother coming back to reveal the evil in his heart. In fact, when his brother was messing up, he knew where the brother was. And then because he told the father, He said that this your son that came back, that has gone to spend your inheritance among prostitutes. He now came back, you threw a party. Me, I've been serving you all this while. You did not even give me one goat to party with my friend. So he also wanted to party, right? But because of what people will say, he didn't have the nerve to come out and say, I want to party. And so, he began to grumble from within him. That's the way many of us behave. You are now looking at all those other people and say, all these people, they are the ones destroying Nigeria. Deep down, you wanted to be on the table, because when you are not on the table, you are on the menu. Many people criticize other people. They wish they were in the position. There was a party in Lagos, in Abuja yesterday. A certain guy called Obi Kubana was having a party. I know people who desire to be in that party. They are looking at themselves and say, why was I not invited? But then same people write, these people are wasting money. These people are useless. See, it takes you to be in the family for you to be invited. So you can't rewrite the past, but you can extract the wisdom to reshape your future. And that is what you can get. And that's why you can't afford to waste your pain. You need to reflect, don't regret, right? It has gone. Another one will show up, but you now need to be prepared for that new one. Right. Are you guys with me? If you are here, can you type yes? Right. Let me be sure that you guys are following. Reflection births clarity, and clarity is the first step to recovery. Right. Okay, good. It looks like you guys are with me. Number two thing, if you want to recover what you have lost, you need to reposition with a new strategy. I love strategy. Everybody that knows me know I love strategy. You need to reposition with a new strategy, right? If you're a single lady, there are ways to reposition yourself. I was auditing a group that I'm working with. I do this C-suite executive session for people who want to get married annually, right? The class is on at the moment. And so I was auditing, people want to get married, and I was auditing their social media handles. And guess what? A lot of people don't know that there is something your social media communicates about you. If you get on my Facebook, for example, there is something that jumps at you. You feel that you are in a school. It's intentional. That's why if you follow me in the last 3 weeks, you realize that I have intentionally taken on hardcore topics, and I had to create a style of pushing them out, right? Because I wanted to be perceived as an intellectual firepower, that if you come to my page, you are learning something. Now, there are times I drop down my neck and I'm throwing banters, especially on football matters. But you see, I'm not looking for a new wife. There are things I'm looking for, and it's reflected in what I'm writing about. If United Nations is looking for someone to analyze something, they should get on my page and be able to take a decision. But somebody says, I want to get married. Then he wants to get married. You get on Instagram, his private profile. We can't even see your picture. You get on Facebook, the last picture you posted was 1999, right? And then you get every other thing you are posting. It's the just shall live by faith on Monday. Tuesday, devotional. Wednesday, what God cannot do does not exist. Thursday, next level prayer meeting. Friday, right? Now, based on auditing your page, you don't look like someone who is looking for a spouse. You are looking like someone who is either a prayer warrior or someone who has a deep-seated issue that you are jumping from pillar to post to solve that problem. That's what you are. That's the theme of your social media handle. A lot of people don't know these things, right? And so contrast that with someone who on Monday, dressed in our best attire, shows up on social media and says, I'm going to work today. I am the most valuable performing workforce person in the world. My bosses are privileged to have me. And any guy that eventually marries me has gotten the mercy of the IT space, right? And then you are crushing on yourself. You put that there. Tuesday, right? You put another thing there. Maybe you went to gym or something. You say, you know what? You need your body to carry you all through tough times. And that's why I prioritize my body, because I have a banging body and I just love myself. Tuesday, you are crushing on yourself. Wednesday, right? You are doing something else, and maybe you're taking a walk. You're saying the walk with nature is so good. Have you observed this particular bird? This is what this bird does. I love it. And like this bird, love is so special. I'm a believer in love, all right? And I look forward to that time. I'm going to connect with the best dude in the world. That is crushing on yourself. You are not desperate. You are subliminally selling. You are saying so much without saying anything. Anybody who gets on that page looks at you, you look together, you're beautiful, you're intelligent. If they can't date you, they can recommend you, right? But many people don't know that. You just go on their page and everything you see just looks like, they have a big problem, like generational causes. And so they are jumping from pillar. I'm not talking about anybody, right? I'm just giving you tips to recovering the guys you've lost, right? Okay, so lost opportunities often create space for better, wiser moves. You need to revisit your dreams, reevaluate your approach, and craft a strategy that aligns with where you are now, not where you were. What you missed yesterday may have matured you for what you will master today. And so here is a strategic blueprint that can help you, right? So you can see this. I use this for a lot of my clients. The first level in recovering is awareness, right? In creating a strategy, awareness. What opportunities did you lose? Let me tell you, after this class, you need to watch this video again. To successfully navigate this might take you like 7 hours or maybe 3 days, right? But you need to be brutally honest. So what opportunity did you lose? You need to write it down. How did you lose it? What laws did you violate? Maybe you violated a relationship law, a natural law, a spiritual law. It can be any. Is there any truth to broker? Did you hurt someone that you need to say you're sorry? If you need to do that, humble yourself. You need to stoop sometimes to conquer. Send the gift, send the letter, right? If you know that what you are sending can be used against you, go for a physical meeting and have the conversation, right? Because sometimes people have become so bad these days that you send a message, it's on social media, right? Is there a truth to broker? What is the cost of the truth? You need to know, right? Then you go to step 2, ownership determination. The opportunity you lost, who owns the opportunity, right? Who owns it? Is it God? Is it in the hand of somebody? What is the evidence of ownership? How do you know the person really owns the opportunity, right? What justification do you have to be qualified for the ownership? You need to, this is where you work on yourself to say, I deserve the best guy. The fact that I have 2 children already doesn't disqualify me from finding a single guy who is wealthy. Please don't shy away from putting someone who is wealthy on your shopping list. Some of you have suffered. You still want to go and hire somebody that you are now going to be funding again. When are you going to be funded? When are you going to be supported? When are you going to live the baby boy or baby girl life? Right? So put wealthy person on your list, right? What justification do you have to qualify for the person? Now, number 3, you need to do the bully analysis. Bully analysis is the person that has the opportunity you want. You need to analyze the person. Who is this person? Right? You need to place them on a flip chart and do an analysis. Who is this bully? What is the history and track record of this person? Do they have a track record of forgiving? What are their blind spots? Are there areas that they have that are blind spots that you can leverage and capitalize on? What are his greed, interest, and weaknesses? Do they have a greed? Do they have a weakness? Do they have any interest? Then who does he or she defer to? If you can figure out who they defer to, then that person can command them. Because if the person is a level 4 officer, right, he may have a level 7 officer above him who can command him even against his wish. You need to do this analysis. Number 4, you now check yourself. Personal capacity audit and extra capacity required. Because you cannot command a 5-star general as a 2-star except via coup. And I'm not sure you want to plan a coup. So you need to build your capacity. Because some of you, what made you lose out was because you were tying turban. The guy was looking for your face, he couldn't find you. Right? And so now that you know, you need to ask somebody, how must I look? How can I still look like me and look very intelligent? And some of you I've met people who are intelligent, but they don't look attractive at all. Right? And they are thinking that the intelligence will make up for the lack of attractiveness. No, they are 2 different things. Intelligence is innate, is in your mind or is your brain. Attraction is physical. You say, I'm not moved by what I see. It's not true. When it comes to matters of the earth, we are moved by what we see in front of us. Right? So you need to do personal capacity. What is the required capacity and clout required to engage and take it back? Part of your engagement process is to say to yourself, I can no longer afford to dress anyhow. I must wear, every time I show up, I must wear tie, black, a red tie, white shirt on a blazer, right? Or trouser suit. You need to define your new persona that can attract them. You need to be intentional what you post on social media. There's a guy who has been nominated for ambassadorship in Nigeria. I'm not saying follow that path, but it has worked for him. This guy called the president a drug lord, called the president all kinds of names, organized rally against Mr. President. But the guy switched from the opponent's camp, started praising Mr. President, started defending him all of a sudden. Now his name has made ambassadors list. That's a classic case of recovering what he has lost, right? You may not like how he went about it. I don't like it. I don't think I'm going to follow that path. But hey, guys, the result is here for us to see, right? So what is the required capacity and clout required to engage and take it back? What is your present clout and capacity? See, some of you need to ask people who are close to you. Ask them, especially for those of you who are single, please look at me. If you were looking for a wife, a husband, will you marry me? Will I be on your choice if you are looking for a wife? I want to be very honest, okay? I will not choose you. Why? Why will you not choose me? Right? You are very intelligent, but you see, your appearance, I will not. I don't want my woman to appear like this. How would you want your woman to appear? I want my woman to dress this way, to look this way, to make up this way, to tie her hair this way, blah, 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 blah. Right. That's, you see, you need honest feedback. Once, and don't feel offended. Once you hear that, don't carry yourself and say, but you know, my religion, I am, God is not coming to marry you. Listen, once you talk to 3 people who love you and they give you similar feedback, you need to change. Except you want to be a nun, right? And so you need to know your present clout and capacity. It will reveal the gaps. Then you now work on it. As you begin to work on it, I was working with a lady. She started going to the gym, started posting a picture. Once she started posting a picture, a pastor came for her. Sister, you are now desperate. Why are you now showing yourself in the gym? Blah, blah, blah. Those things got to her and she withdrew from me. She's still not married. Right? She's still not married. And it's so painful how you can allow the opinion of someone who is already married, who doesn't care about you, to get you in the name of spiritual authority. Those things annoy me. Right? Anyway, can you take the bully on your own and win? Whosoever the opportunity is with, can you engage them on your own and win? Or you need an extra capacity. Sometimes your former company cannot win the deal. You need to go and do a merger, or you need to go and align with people already doing deals in that sector and take a piece of the cake, right? Because by yourself, you don't have credibility, reputation, they don't know you, right? You don't have the registration requirement. You have not done all the bribing that is required. There is a company, there is someone who knows how to do all those things. Go and align with the person and take maybe 10%, a piece of the pie. Put your products in there. They may cheat you initially, but at least it gets you in, right? What extra capacity is needed? How long will it take for you to be ready? And who do you need to bring? Are there people you need to bring in? You need to figure that out. And number 5, best fit strategy. Best fit strategy. What is the entry strategy? Do you go direct or do you go indirect? Direct will mean that there's somebody inside who can open the door for you. Indirect will mean you need to beam your signal. You need to be, social media has made it easy. From LinkedIn to Instagram to TikTok, you show up. You share your thoughts. To YouTube, you are, for example, I was working with a lady who wants to be a makeup artist. She's new. She's in New York. And I said to her, she said, I don't know how to make this business work. I said, you want to make the business? I said, very simple. What you need to do is open a YouTube page. Every event, every show, state event, social event, observe the makeup of the top ladies there and critique it on social media. And tell them, oh, your makeup is good, but then it could have been this, it could have been that. I said, stay on that for the next 1 year. You'll realize that you become the makeup police of that industry. And then if you are the makeup police, you are the one that can spot the error. They'll begin to invite you, right? And so we're tracking that. So you need to know that's an indirect entry strategy. Now, who is needed to execute the strategy? Manpower. Do you need people? Please don't try to take content on your own. There are battles you need people. And be willing to share. I was doing strategy for a lady. And I said to her, I said, this thing you want to do, for it to try, bring this person in, bring this person in, give them equity, let them co-own it, and then you can push it. Oh, she said, no, shouldn't they support me? I said, it doesn't work that way. I said, if they co-own it with you, they won't have a sense to go and set up their own, right? They will take a piece of this pie, right? And then you can go together. But she didn't listen, right? Almost immediately, the project has collapsed because I knew these things and I know how they happen, right? What is the script needed? What approach? Do you use force or stealth? I'm a student of Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, so I believe in nonviolent revolution. So I believe in stealth most of the time. How do you engage? Overt or covert? How do you know where it is kept, and how do you retrieve the opportunities? What narratives do we create, right? You need to create a narrative that says, I'm now ready. I now know what I'm doing, right? I know how these things work. So I'm finding myself in pockets of spaces of power right now. I mean, I went to Nigeria the other day. A first lady invited me and took me to her garden and was having some deep conversations with me that she would never have with anybody, and she was saying, oh, pray. And I knew how to comport myself, how to retain myself, because I have learned from what I missed, right? And so, number 6, permanent possession strategy. If the opportunity shows up again, and now you have it, you need to have a plan ahead of time. How do you keep and treasure it? What can sabotage you again? That must be uninstalled, right? Which is usually your beliefs. You need to check. See, guys, listen to me. Once the beliefs you have right now in the last 10 years has not delivered what you desire, there's a 90% chance that belief is wrong. You can take that to the bank. There's a 90% chance that belief is wrong. You need to change that belief. I have seen people struggle on the same spot for 20 years because they will not change their belief. Oh, what will come to me will come to me. It may not come to you. In fact, based on your life's path, your life's path may not be for things to come to you. Your life's path must be for you to go after things. So you need to study yourself, right? And so what systems help you permanently keep it? You need to build systems, build strategy, build systems, understand people who have built systems. And that takes me to number 3, leverage relationships. Sometimes opportunities are hidden in the hands of people around you. Reconnect, collaborate, serve, and be visible. See, there is a reason I don't believe in buying Ashwebi, but there are people whose Ashwebi I will buy because I must buy the Ashwebi, no matter how expensive it is. You know why? I need to show up in their party. They need to see me, right? You can't have a client who is going to give you a 300 billion deal, and then you are saying, I don't buy Ashwebi. I will break my law for people like that. Right? It's all those funny people I won't buy a show before. So sometimes, I mean, Dangote's birthday was 2 days ago. Did you see the kind of cakes they got? Right? So you need to collaborate. You need to say, because some of you, the friends you have left many years ago, some of them are not in power. You didn't build the relationship. When you were doing well, they were struggling in politics, right? You were in the banking sector. You were in the oil and gas. You had money, right? And you were feeling cool. You will never need them. Now they are in the Senate. Now they are governors. And then you can't reach them because of shame. See, buy an expensive gift and send to them. You can reconnect. Many lost doors reopen through divine connections and restored relationships. Right? The right conversation can bring back what is a missed calendar moment wants to. So that's why, see, you don't have control over some of these opportunities coming back to you, but what you have control over is who you have become. Keep being you. Keep showing up. Keep showing that you are the new person, and then it will show up your way. Number 4, right? Act fast, even if it's small. Momentum does not need perfection. Take one bold step today towards what you want. So what bold step will you take today? Some of you, you just need to place a call to that guy or that babe to say, I'm so sorry for the way I talked to you, for the way I treated you. That's a bold step, right? I wish I didn't have to do that, but where I was then, I'm so sorry. Apologize. That's a bold step. I know it's going to cost you. You are going to feel, why should I do that? Does it look like I'm begging? No. But take that bold step, right? You will reap what you sow, not necessarily where you sowed it, right? Take one bold step today. So draft the proposal, right? Some of you, take the proposal out. Oh, I won't talk to the guy because of the way I treated him. Send him a gift. I'm so sorry for the way I treated you. Don't ask for anything. Send him a gift. Thank you very much. I might do a cost visit. If they say no, it's okay, right? Go away, come back again. How are you doing? I'm just checking on you. Take a bold step. Draft the proposal, revisit the idea, make the call, Movement creates magnetism. Miracles are motion sensitive. They are like that motion sensitive door. As long as you don't move near it, it never opens. Right? Some of the opportunities are waiting for you to move again. So make the move again. So you say, praise. Some of you want to marry. Your social life is dead. You do not visit social places. You do not party. You do not club. You do not do any of those things. You are just in the place of prayer. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that the guys you're looking for may not be there, or the babes may not be there, right? Speed isn't always about running. Sometimes it's about showing up consistently. And number 5, turn your loss into legacy. See, use your story of loss to inspire others and rebuild your confidence. Teach from it, lead through it. I mean, I've used my story to teach you something right now. So some of the people who are younger, they won't make the mistakes we made, right? If you are not sure, ask. And don't just ask people who don't understand power dynamics. Ask people who have lost something. Don't go and ask people who tell you, oh, don't go there. They will make you backslide. Meanwhile, they go and position their own children there, right? Sometimes opportunity wasn't just for you, but for others to learn through you. And that's the thing. All things work together for good to them that love God. What you lost can sometimes become what you are known for if you dare to rise again. In closing, lost opportunity may not return exactly as they were. And I've carefully written this. It may not return exactly as they were, but life has a redemptive intelligence. I believe that, right? When you reflect, recalibrate, and reposition yourself, life often opens up new doors, bigger, bolder, and better, because now you have capacity. You can take on bigger opportunities, right? So where my head is right now, what I'm thinking about, I'm taking on bigger opportunities than I'm ever taken in my life, right? So think of it like this. A missed flight doesn't cancel the destination. It only invites a reroute. In fact, I missed my flight last week, Monday. I was flying in from Newark back to Dallas. I decided to branch and see my brother, Femi Lazarus, who was in, Newark. And then we overgisted. And by the time I got, in fact, I missed the flight by 1 minute. As I went to drop my luggage, I'd already checked in. They told me I was 1 minute late. So I couldn't go. I had to wait for like 3 hours. But those 3 hours before, I would have been saying, praise, look at your life. You were gisting. Devil got you. But no, I just look at myself and say, oh, wow, life is giving me like 3 other hours to do something more. So I put up my laptop, began to write, wrote my experience, blah, 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 new content, right? And so you need to quickly move away from your pain. So a missed flight doesn't cancel the destination. It just invites you around. A lost job may birth an empire. The pain of losing a job, you can create an empire, right? A failed relationship may awaken personal healing that attracts a healthier one. Sometimes what we call lost was actually like of creating space for the right opportunity at the right time with a better version of you. So I want you to know that life is rerouting your life to make you better. So stop staying where you've always stayed. Stop listening to who you've always listened to. Pick up new books, take new autobiographies, study new movement, go to new spaces, go for new parties, meet new people, introduce yourself, replace everyone that is lost in your life with new people subscribe to your values, and then you realize that your dreams come true again. So what have you lost? It's time to go for it. God doesn't just restore what we lost. He often upgrades it with interest. If you forgot everything I've taught today, God doesn't just restore what we lost. He often upgrades it with interest. And my prayer for you this season is that whatever you have lost, the Lord Almighty will bring it back in good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, and that you will be fully prepared for the newest version that God is bringing your way. That God will grant you a miracle this season. Your life will work. Your deals will come back in better version. You'll be able to take advantage of it. The spouses you lost is coming back this season. You're going to be introduced to new people and you will know how to engage them. I wish you all the best and may God keep you, help you, sustain you. I want to hear your testimonies between now and next month. So practice everything I've taught today and trust me, life will produce a better version of you, and a better version of you will produce new results. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Wow, 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 wow. PF, that was one deep masterclass. I wish we had more time.